hurricane. It's a tropical storm that came ashore early this morning. Idalia making landfall in the Big Bend region of northwest Florida as a Category 3 hurricane, slamming Florida with winds up to 120 miles an hour. Intense flooding in many towns from Tampa to the north. Take a look at some of these sites from around Florida's coast this morning. What were once roads now underwater due to the torrential rains and the huge storm surge.
Hurricane Idalia quickly weakened to a Category 2 hurricane as it moved inland and up the east coast. And just within the last few minutes, it has been downgraded again to a tropical storm. It is right now heading into Georgia. This is a live view from the beach in Kiowa Island, South Carolina, just south of Charleston, where the storm is hitting right now. It will eventually trail off into the ocean. But
it is causing problems in South Carolina, where tornado warnings were issued for parts of the Charleston area due to the storm late this afternoon. We have team coverage from meteorologist Alden German and our chief meteorologist Ben Pine. They're tracking this storm and where it's moving now.
Let's start with Ben on what Idalia is going to be looking like as it moves up the coast. Ben?
Yeah, it'll continue as a tropical storm, causing a lot of wind and a tornado threat, as Doug mentioned here, around Savannah, Georgia, Charleston, up to Myrtle Beach. That's where we have that tornado watch and several actual tornado warnings there, too. You can see the eye made landfall around 7:45 this morning around the Big Bend region, one of the most unpopulated areas in Florida. However, the impacts have been widespread. Record storm surge north of Tampa and a lot of coastal flooding there. The severe destructive winds causing nearly 500,000 power outages over northern Florida and southern Georgia, and now again out ahead of the circulation of what is now Tropical Storm Idalia is that tornado threat. So the latest update here from the National Hurricane Center, it's moving at a pretty good clip to the northeast at around 20 to 25 miles per hour. So it's not going to be long before this system heads back out over the open waters of the Atlantic Ocean. So this is the forecast up to midnight, heading over the central South Carolina coastline. The key thing here is it moves up to the northeast. Notice the flow is offshore, so that's going to limit the flood threat for these areas around Georgia and South Carolina along the coastline. And this is all a tropical storm warning there over the southeastern coast. By tomorrow morning around sunrise around Wilmington, North Carolina, and then quickly the rest of tomorrow into Friday, making its way out over the Atlantic Ocean. There have been some other big impacts as well, rainfall and wind. And with that, we'll head over to Alden German.
Ben, the rainfall is quite high in several locations. We're looking at two main areas here. The first one being through Georgia, the second one into central Florida. Into Georgia, where they had some of the highest rainfall totals over the last 12 hours, where areas near Valdosta were reporting over 9.5 inches in some rural localized locations and around 7.5 inches to the north of Jessup. And now in Florida, the flooding impacts were a little bit less just because this area is also fairly sparsely populated, and you're getting closer into the Everglades region, but still a couple of bands there of rain totals between about 6.5 inches and almost 9 inches of rainfall. Those wind gusts have backed off quite a bit, still around 45 miles per hour in a few locations, but as the storm continues the weekend, we'll notice those wind speeds also continuing to decline as the storm will continue to push offshore. Doug?